Turn left now. Do you see the dirt track? Take it, now.
Left. That's barely a goat path. We'll plunge off the cliff?
The driving school sedan scraped the guardrail as Sora jerked the wheel, the rear tires spinning on the loose gravel.
I am losing control. The wheels aren't gripping.
Don't panic. Countersteer and feather the brake. You can do this.
The car fishtailed, rear swinging toward the drop-off. Gravel sprayed into the void as the edge blurred past.
Good. Now straighten. Maintain speed. The corner ahead is blind. Watch for oncoming.
She's not even breathing hard. Is she testing me? Or trying to kill me?
After endless tight turns and sheer drops, they coasted to a stop at the mountain overlook. Sora's hands still shook on the wheel.
We never once touched a city street. Every lesson, stadiums, factories, now this. Why? What is she really teaching me?
Sora's hands only steadied when he pulled into his driveway. The engine ticked into silence, but his pulse still hammered.
Sora, you look like you've seen a ghost. What happened out there?
The instructor. She made me drive a cliffside goat track, not a single city street. Again.
Again? You've had 4 lessons now. Has she ever taken you on the actual test course?
Number. It's always stadiums, abandoned factories, mountain passes. I've never even seen the route they test on.
That's unacceptable. Tomorrow I am calling the school and demanding a different instructor. You can't fail because of her.
She had drilled him for an hour in an empty stadium lot, parallel parking between faded lines until his arms ached, and once, through a crumbling industrial park, she'd forced him to brake, swerve, and accelerate on broken asphalt full of potholes.
Wait, Mom, don't call yet. I don't want to be the guy who quits after a few tough lessons, but if she doesn't teach me the test route soon, I'll fail the mock exam for sure. 1 more week. Then I'll ask for a switch.
1 week later, Sora sat in the familiar school sedan, but on a street he'd never seen. The mock test route was a flat, predictable grid of residential blocks.
This isn't the mountain. No blind curves, no gravel. Why does this feel harder?
The examiner's clipboard rested on his lap. When Sora misjudged the parallel parking by a full meter, the pen scratched sharply.
Yuka never had me park between real curbs. Only painted lines and empty lots. I don't know the spacing.
An hour later, the examiner handed him the evaluation sheet. A single red mark at the bottom. Fail. You need more practice on basic maneuvers, he said flatly.
I failed because you wasted every lesson on dirt roads and factory lots. Not once did we practice the actual test.
The test is just a formality. That kindergarten grid doesn't prove anything. You think passing it makes you ready for real roads?
She's not even sorry. She's looking at me like I am the one who doesn't get it.
You are not ready. When you can handle a real hazard, a truck jumping the median, ice on a blind corner, then you'll be ready. The test is not the point.
But I'll never get my license if I keep failing. And she won't change. I am trapped with an instructor who doesn't care if I pass.
That night, Sora's mother called the driving school. Her voice was sharp with restrained anger.
I have a complaint about Instructor Yuka. My son failed his mock test because she never teaches the official route, only dangerous backroads.
We'll review her lesson logs immediately. Any deviation from the approved curriculum will be dealt with.
The manager pulled up Yuka's records. Every logged lesson took him to places no driving school map included. Stadium parking lots, rusted industrial roads, mountain switchbacks.
Suzuki-san, these logs are impossible to excuse. You've been ignoring the curriculum entirely. This is a serious violation.
Do what you need to do. I won't contest it.
By noon, the school board outside the classroom bore a bright red sticker over every one of Yuka's time slots. Cancelled. The secretary called Sora with the news.
Mom actually called, and now Yuka's suspended. I didn't want this. I just wanted her to teach me the right route. She didn't even fight back, just accepted it. Why does that make me feel worse? I needed answers, not this. What was she teaching me? And why do I feel like I just ruined something I don't even understand?
Sora found Yuka's address in the school's backup files. A short train ride and a walk past a rusting playground.
Yuka? It's Sora. I came to say I am sorry. About my mom. About the complaint. Can we talk?
It doesn't matter. You got your wish. Now leave.
Through the narrow mail slot, Sora glimpsed a room lined with papers. Hand-drawn routes, landmarks circled in red, sticky notes layered like scales.
Maps. Her whole apartment is a war room. Those aren't random roads, they're places I know.
You looked. That's none of your concern. Go home, Sora. Now.
But those maps, they show my college, my part-time job. How do you know all that? Just tell me what's going on.
Stop. There's nothing to explain. If you want a license, find another instructor.
She's been tracking my life, every route. This isn't about driving tests, it's personal. I need to know what's on those maps. And why she'd go this far for a student she barely knows.
Sora took the early train. Yuka was out for hours, the neighbor said. He had his chance.
I can't just break in, but I have to see those maps. She owes me an explanation.
The door wasn't locked. He stepped inside and his breath caught. The entire apartment was a map library.
Every wall, my college route, my part-time job street, my grandmother's house, all with handwritten warnings.
He photographed the college map. Blind corner 40M trucks often cross center line. Tested 12 times.
Sunrise Mart. She marked the delivery truck times. She even circled the pothole near the employee door.
A red string led from his house to a photo of the expressway ramp. Sticky note, Saturday, 2 p.m., speeding danger.
She knows my schedule, my routes. This is a surveillance log of my entire driving reality.
Pinned to the desk. Sora's first solo drive. Bridge hazard, brake early, never accelerate on the curve.
This isn't about tests, it's a shield. Every road she mapped is a hazard she wanted me to survive. But why? I am a stranger.
A late-night search connected the name Yuka Suzuki with a news article he'd avoided for 2 years. Fatal crash on Fujikawa Highway. Off-duty paramedic tried to save driver. The date hit him like a wall. Exactly 2 years ago. The anniversary of his father's death. A grainy photo showed a paramedic crouching on the asphalt. Pale hair, her face blurred. But the rose-colored ponytail was unmistakable.
She was there. At the accident. That's her in the photo.
The same stretch of road from her maps, Fujikawa Highway, westbound. The crash his father never walked away from. Before dawn, Sora was back at Yuka's door, phone clenched in his hand.
You again. I told you to leave.
You were the paramedic. The one who held my father's hand on Fujikawa Highway.
She went rigid, her amber eyes widening. But she didn't deny it.
Why? Why map his death road and teach it to me? What do you owe him or me?
Sora asked his mother to visit the grave. He didn't explain. She brought incense without questions.
That day, a paramedic held your father's hand. She didn't leave his side until help came. The police told me she had pink hair. She told them she was sorry she couldn't save him. She apologized to a dying man she'd never met.
Pink hair, apology. The same woman who memorized my routes and took me up a mountain. Did they ever tell you her name?
Number. She was off duty, just passing by. Why, Sora? Did you know her?
Number, but I think she knew Dad, and she's been trying to protect me because of it.
His mother's eyes widened, but he only shook his head. He couldn't explain yet. The full truth was waiting in a map-lined apartment.
She's been carrying this alone for 2 years, teaching me in secret, hiding her guilt. It stops tonight.
Sora stood up from the grave, fists clenched. He knew where he had to go. Sora didn't knock this time. He opened the door to find Yuka slumped among her maps, the room dim.
I am not here to accuse. Just tell me. You were the one who held my father's hand, weren't you?
She didn't lift her head, but her shoulders began to shake and the silence cracked into a sob.
Yes, it was me. I was off duty that evening.
She reached for her drawer and pulled out a worn paramedic badge, the photo still showing her younger face.
You kept that badge all this time.
I couldn't throw it away. It reminds me of every life I couldn't save.
She crumpled to the floor, the badge pressed against her chest, tears soaking into the maps beneath her.
She's been carrying this for 2 years, alone.
Sora knelt beside her, waiting in silence, letting her know he wasn't leaving until she told him everything. When Yuka finally spoke, her voice was hollow, as if reciting a report she'd filed 1,000 times in her head.
No one else stopped. The guardrail had peeled the car open. I climbed into the wreckage and found him. He was pinned, but conscious. He grabbed my hand and said, "Tell my son, drive safe." Then he was gone.
Her hands trembled as she pressed them against the floor, the maps curling beneath her fingers.
I found his family in the news. Learned your name, your school. I quit my paramedic job and transferred to the driving school. When you finally signed up, I knew I could protect you. Teach you every danger your father faced. Every route he ever drove for you.
She swept her arm toward the walls. Every dangerous curve, every blind spot. I mapped every place you ever go.
She didn't want me to pass a test. She wanted me to survive all the roads he would have taught me on.
I know it was wrong. I know I hurt your test, but I couldn't let another person die on those roads. Not you.
Sora stood motionless. Her guilt had twisted into a shield, and for 2 years she'd held it alone. He couldn't find a single word. The silence stretched until the clock on her wall ticked like a countdown. Yuka sobbed into her hands, waiting for him to walk out.
Every terrifying lesson, the mountain, the factories, the stadium, it was all to keep me alive on the real roads, not a test.
He knelt again, his hand covering her trembling fist. She flinched but didn't pull away.
You taught me to survive roads. I'll face every day. My father wanted that. You gave it to me.
But I ruined your test. I failed you as an instructor.
Then why keep it a secret? Why let me think you were just a bad instructor?
I didn't want to burden you with my guilt. You'd already lost so much, I thought. You'd hate me.
She wasn't a bad instructor. She was the only one who actually prepared me for what was out there. You protected me. I am getting your job back. This isn't how your story ends.
Her amber eyes widened through the tears. For the first time, something other than despair flickered, disbelief, and the faintest hope. The next morning, Sora walked into the safe driving school and straight to the manager's office.
I need to talk to you about Instructor Yuka Suzuki. It's important.
The matter is closed. She violated curriculum. Rules are rules.
Look at these. Photos of her apartment walls. Hand-drawn maps of every dangerous road my father drove.
The manager adjusted his glasses, his stern expression flickering as he scanned the images.
And this is her paramedic badge. She was off duty when she tried to save my father. This is her way of protecting his son.
This is unusual, but the fact remains. She ignored our curriculum.
Would you turn away a hero? She's not a bad instructor. She's the only one who actually prepared me for the roads outside.
A long pause. The manager picked up the photos again, then slowly set them down.
I'll call a formal review hearing. 3 days, no promises.
3 days later, in a cramped boardroom, Sora and Yuka sat across from a panel of 3 committee members. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead.
My father died on Fujikawa Highway 2 years ago. Yuka Suzuki was the paramedic who held his hand and heard his last words. She taught me that exact road and every dangerous route he ever took, so I would never die there too. That's not bad instruction. That's life-saving.
I know I broke the rules. I am sorry, but I just wanted him to be safe. Please, let me teach properly.
The committee conferred, head shaking, a wiped lens, the scratch of a pen. Then silence.
Instructor Suzuki, this committee finds your methods unauthorized. However, given the extenuating circumstances, we are issuing a conditional reinstatement. You may return to instructing immediately, but strictly the official test route. Any deviation, and you are finished.
Yuka received the order with trembling hands. The red stamp of the school seal blurred through her tears.
Thank you. I won't waste this chance.
Then let's get you a student who already knows the real roads. I still need to pass that test.
The school car hummed. Yuka traced the test map on the dashboard, her voice uncharacteristically hesitant.
Can I trust this? After everything, she's still the same Yuka.
2 blocks ahead. Left turn. Standard lane change procedure.
Sora followed the direction. Flat residential roads. No cliffs. No gravel. Almost boring.
This is so simple. Why didn't we ever practice this?
The test is simple. Real roads aren't. The exam won't save you from a truck crossing the median.
She never stopped protecting me. Even now, with just a route number.
At a stoplight, she glanced at him. The old intensity had softened into something quieter, but equally fierce.
This time, when I take the test, I'll be ready. For all of it.
They drove on, an unspoken truce settling. The exam was no longer a barrier, it was a finish line within reach. A few days later, Yuka traced the map past the test route, her finger stopping at a bridge.
See that dip? Cars lose control here in heavy rain. Brake before, never during.
You are still teaching me real-world hazards, even on the official route.
In the next session, they spent 20 minutes on parallel parking. Sora didn't hit a single cone.
I never thought I'd be able to do this without panicking. Yuka's voice is a calm instruction now, not a threat.
Your spacing is perfect. Just keep your eyes on the rear window corner.
After I pass, let's drive to my grandmother's house. It's one of the routes on your map. I want to show you I can get there safely.
I'd like that. He spoke of my map like a family road. Maybe I didn't fail him after all.
The test no longer scared him. Whatever came, he'd face it with her words in his ears.
The morning of his official driving test, Sora stood at the test center entrance. Cars number 1 through number 6 were already lined up.
Car number 7. That's mine. Yuka can't ride with me today. I'll hear her voice anyway.
Yuka waited beyond the chain link fence. Her fingers laced together so tightly her knuckles were white.
He'll pass. He knows every hazard. Just stay calm, Sora.
The examiner raised the green flag, and car number 7 rolled forward onto the test grid.
Brake before the curve. Defensive spacing saves lives.
The 3-point turn was fluid. The examiner's pen hovered, but made no mark.
Mirror, shoulder, wheel. Just like the stadium lot.
The final lane change complete. Sora pulled over. The examiner's pen scratched across the evaluation sheet. He couldn't see the marks. The result remained hidden behind the examiner's stoic face as he exited the car. The examiner returned to the driver's window and silently held out the evaluation sheet. The large stamp on the top line was unmistakable.
Pass? It says pass.
He stared at the certificate as if it might dissolve. Then a laugh broke from him. Raw and breathless, he fumbled open the door and ran. Across the test lot, toward the chain link fence where Yuka was waiting.
Yuka, look, I passed.
She saw the paper through the diamond-shaped gaps. Her hands flew to her mouth, and then her knees buckled.
He did it. He's safe. After all this, he's safe.
I passed because of you. Not the test route. Because you taught me how to stay alive.
She crumpled against the fence, sobs shaking her shoulders. The paper fluttered between them, an offering to the grief they both carried.
Dad, I promised I'd drive safe. She made sure I would.
Later that afternoon, Sora's own car, not the school sedan, hummed along a country road. The license was in his wallet, but the weight of the day still hung in the air.
That's the Fujikawa Highway exit ahead.
That's where it happened. The road I told him to avoid every single lesson.
The green sign loomed, the ramp curving upward into the orange sky. Sora flicked his turn signal.
Not this one. Ever.
The side road curved into a quiet lane. Yuka exhaled, a breath she'd held for 2 years. 20 minutes later, they pulled up to a traditional house with a garden of chrysanthemums. Sora's grandmother was already at the door. The elderly woman bowed low, words of gratitude spilling out in a soft, trembling voice. Sora stood beside Yuka, translating with his own lump in his throat. Yuka tried to bow in return, but her legs gave way. She sank onto the stone path, tears falling freely onto the moss.
She's home. We both are.
That evening, they sat on a grassy hill above the city, the sky deepening to violet. The headlights below traced the very roads Yuka had once memorized.
I spent 2 years punishing myself for that night. I never thought I'd be forgiven.
The city glow caught the last of her tears, and for the first time in years, her shoulders didn't tremble.
You turned punishment into protection. That's not guilt. That's love.
You drive safely, okay, for him.
Sora nodded, his own throat tight. The promise felt heavier than any exam.
I will. For both of you.
I'll keep teaching, differently. I'll make sure no one else feels this fear alone.
Thank you for making me listen to the road.
The city hummed below, its roads no longer a maze of dangers but a map of promises kept. They sat in silence, the weight of 2 years lifting into the violet sky. 1 year later, on a crisp autumn morning, Sora's car rolled smoothly toward campus. The confident hands on the wheel no longer belonged to the boy who once feared the road.
That curve up ahead, brake before, never during. Yuka's drills are muscle memory now.
He passed a familiar intersection, a spot she'd warned about 100 times. Without thinking, he eased off the gas and checked his mirrors.
Defensive spacing saves lives. Her voice is a permanent passenger.
As he turned onto the street parallel to the driving school, a familiar navy blazer caught his eye. There, in a school sedan, sat Yuka beside a nervous young woman gripping the wheel.
She's still at it, still protecting.
Yuka glanced out the window as his car passed. Recognition flickered, and her lips curved into a small, proud nod.
Keep going, Yuka. Keep them safe.
Sora waved briefly and turned toward the campus, the road ahead, as clear as the promise he'd made. On a spring afternoon, Sora drove his mother along a road lined with cherry blossoms. The route was gentle, the way his father would have taken.
You drive so carefully now.
The car hummed, and Sora's hands rested easy on the wheel.
I had a good teacher.
They arrived at the cemetery, and Sora parked with the same precision he'd learned in that empty stadium lot. Together, they walked to the grave. The incense already lit in his mother's hand. No words were needed. The silence was filled with the rustle of cherry petals.
Every safe drive, every avoided hazard. It's my way of saying thank you.
He never drove the highway where his father died. But every route he took was a quiet thank you to the woman who taught him to live. The license in his wallet was more than a card. It was a promise kept. The Fujikawa Highway overpass arched into the evening, its asphalt empty and silent. No headlights ever again traced the curve where a guardrail had once torn. Below, on the farm road, a single car kept a steady pace, its turn signal winking gently. It was the same car that had once skidded on gravel, now guided by a memory of pink hair and amber eyes. In a corner of his room, a hand-drawn map hung under a small lamp preserved behind glass. Red circles and pencil lines cataloged every hazard she'd memorized, a testament of love and fear. A dried chrysanthemum blossom rested in the frame's corner, faded but intact, from the garden where she'd wept. He never took the highway again. That road belonged to the past, a boundary marked by sacrifice. But every morning he drove into the sunrise, his hands steady on the wheel, a promise renewed, and the road went on, safe and open, under a sky that held no fear.